All right, this is lesson 3.2. This is specifically lesson 3.2.1. What this is about is finding percent increase and eventually to interpret comparisons that use ratios and percentages. One thing that we can use to help us understand percent is a bar graph. So here's the birth in 1999, and we'll think of that height right here as 100%. And then in 2006, there were more births than before, so the bar is a little bit higher. And the little section of the bar right here represents the percent increase. So how much area does that bar have compared with the area of the 100% bar? And if you think about it and split it up into that many parts, you'd probably come to the conclusion that it's a little bit less than 1/10 of the bar, but not like quite 1/20th. So between 5 and 10% we can use to represent that area there. We're going to specifically find a mathematical way to find that. All right. So we're going to start by using some models to help us understand that. We'll do problem number 1 here. It says as people grow older, they often say that time seems to pass more quickly. Think about whether 2 years seems longer to you now than it did when you were 6 years old. Make a diagram that shows the percent increase in your age from when you were 6 years old to when you were 8 years old. And then we're going to draw our diagram. So the age at 6 years old represents 100%. So let's start with a bar that can represent 6 years old. All right, so this is 6 years right here. All right, and then we're going to try and draw another bar that represents 8 years old. Now, 8 is 2 more than 6, so I'm going to split this 6 into 3 parts. And I'm going to make my 8-year-old bar go that much more than my 6-year-old bar. So here we have 2, age 2, age 4, age 6, age 8. Now this shaded part right here represents the increase from the age of 6 to the age of 8. So let's just think about that, how much that represents, and compared to our original, so this is 100% right here, and this extra part is our percent increase over our age of 6. And if you look at that, that's 1 out of 3 sections, the size of it. So it's really like saying 1/3 more. And 1/3 more is 33 1/3% more. So as a percent, we are increasing by 33 1/3%. All right. Now let's think about our age now, or your age now. The next problem, it says, now make a diagram that shows the percent increase in your age from 2 years ago to now. Draw your diagram so the age 2 years ago represents 100%. Use your diagram to estimate the percent increase in your age. So let's do that one. We'll draw a new diagram. All right. So I'm going to just assume for this problem that maybe you are maybe you're 14. So we want a bar that represents 12. So let's say this is 12 years. I'm going to split that in half. So that's 6 years. And split those into thirds. So those are 2-year sections. So now I can make age 14 1 more section longer than that, because each section represents 2 years. Now again, our age 12 represents 100%. So that's right here. And we can see that our percent increase is represented by this area right here. And that's 1 piece out of 6. So it's 1/6 more. And as a percent, 1/6 is about 17%. if we round it to the nearest percent. So that's 17% more. So at the age of, and remember this is the age of 14, or the age of 12. So when we go from 12 to the age of 14, we're really only increasing our age by 17%. So, and in the last problem, when we go from age 6 to 8, we increased our age by 33%, which is about twice as much of an increase. So when you're younger, it seems like time goes more slowly. Now, if we made a graph for Mr. Hermanson from 2 years ago to now, okay, now, 2 years ago, I was 48, now I'm 50. That means that I'm 2 years older out of 48 years. What percent is that? Well, 48 is really close to 50, so I can just double that, and it's about 4%. So I'm gaining about 4% increase in age. So time really seems to move fast for me, because relative to my whole life, a couple of years isn't much of a percent. All right. So this next problem here, we're going to do in class, this jump rope problem. If you watch the video, we'll do that. And I'm going to do number 8 with you so you can get an idea how to do these percent increases. So I'm going to give you a specific way to do it. You may come up with another way that you think would work too, but try to do it this way. There's students make less mistakes when they do it. So shoes are regularly priced at $55 are on sale for $41.25. What is the percent decrease? So we want the percent decrease. Decrease is an important word. So the first thing I want to know is how much is the decrease. So how much less is this $41.25 price? So I'm going to go ahead and subtract those two numbers, and I find that it's $13.75 less. Okay, and since I want the percent of decrease, I'm going to use that number as my part. Okay, so I'm going to do 13.75, and my whole is always my original price, or original number that I started with. So you always want to think of that, which is the original where you started. I don't want to use 41.25. I don't want to compare it to that because that's my new price, not my original. So then I'm going to put 55 here, and I want to know what the percent it is, so I'm going to put an N over 100. Then I'm going to do my cross products, and 1375 times 100 is 1375, and then my other cross product is 55N. So I'm going to divide both sides by 55, and I get N is equal to 25. And that's a percent. So my answer is, for this problem, is 25%. And I should label that. The price went down 25%, so I'm going to say 25%. There's my answer. All right. Next problem I'm going to do is the share and summarize problem. Right there, a particular tree grew from 125 to 133 centimeters in 1 year. What was the percent increase? So we're looking for the percent increase in the height. So since I'm finding a percent increase, I want to know the increase. How much did the tree grow? To find that, I have to find the difference between the two numbers. 133 minus 125 is 8. And 8 is my part. So 8 out of my original amount. So the tree grew from 125 to 133. So 125 is where I came from, my original amount. And I want to change that to a percent. So I get 8 times 100, which is 800, is equal to 125 times 10. Divide both sides by 125, and I get n equals 6.4. So a 6.4% increase in the height of the tree. All right, that's the end of the video. You can show up at class tomorrow and we'll talk about finding percent increase and decrease.